So, Chef, I've never had a chance to actually sit down and tell you
Let's do it today.
in person how big a fan I am, which you know already. But I don't think you realize that a lot of my happiest moments in the past few years have been with your food,
Thank you.
with the people I love here. And I like to tell my friends that the way your food makes me feel is like how a great lover should. It's very I've been very fortunate to have been to some of the best restaurants in the world, both fine dining and hole in the walls. And the way that I see your food is kind of a combination of going to Restaurant Danielle, Paul Bocu's, and Grandma's food. It's very nurturing, it's satiating in a very profound way. It's got elements of the molecular gastronomy, and it's got the classic French. It's just everything that anyone could possibly want.
It evolved too. I probably evolved because I started off my career cooking French food, just pure French food.
Really?
Places like Le Manoir,
Right.
where you just cook just classic French.
Right.
And a little bit of English influence or whatever you call it.
Right.
But then it evolved as I grew up. Probably as I got matured, I started embracing a little more of my ethnicity.
Yeah.
That actually created a brand new cuisine, which when I came here in California, I saw them as a new trend coming in.
Yeah.
Like California cuisine, and then every chef is having his own twist into California cuisine.
Right.
Which is easier because California cuisine is very, very kind of an accepting cuisine.
Right.
It takes flavors and it accepts things. So even people are that way. So it was easier. And then now it has become like chefs from all kind of ethnicities are just giving their tweaks and twists to the cuisine.
True.
So it's easier than, for example, very solid, rich cuisine doesn't take other cuisines very well.
True.
But good thing is it's the other way around is easier because something like
Right.
California takes any flavor
The
well.
infusions. Very true, very true.
So that kind of helped me.
I'm curious. I want to know today the man behind the Michelin star, behind all the interviews that I've read of you. I want to know more about your background, your childhood. I want to know how it is that you came to be what I consider one of the greatest chefs in the world. And
Thank you for saying that.
it's this interview is definitely not unbiased because anybody who knows me knows that I am your number one fan, besides your family, I'm sure. I think that you should be a household name. And I'm curious what your path was to get to this stage of such brilliance. So,
I don't know. I don't know how brilliant I am.
well, I think you are.
But like most Indian kids, I grew up in obviously south of India.
You were born in south of India.
Born in south of India
Right.
to a very, very middle class family.
Uh-huh.
Very middle class family.
What did your parents do?
My mom's a teacher.
Uh-huh.
She's a botany zoology specialized
Botany
teacher.
and zoology. Interesting. And that's what she taught.
She taught, yeah.
What grade?
She did. We have something called high school and higher secondary school.
Okay.
So, which is basically
Pre-college?
pre-college
Okay.
as well as the highest grade of this is 10th grade and pre-college.
Okay.
So she taught that. So she was obviously a teacher.
Yeah.
So very strict.
Yeah.
Kind of in India, it works a little differently because you better listen to parents.
Oh, yes. Of course. Of course.
Which I thought was a nice thing.
Yes.
Which at times I even try to put it on to my
Your son,
which
yeah.
I don't think he's going to take it well later on. At least now he's
That's so
okay.
funny. And
But,
your father?
My father is an investigation officer.
Investigation officer.
So, like we have FBI here.
Yes.
In India, we have CBI.
Okay.
Central Bureau of Investigation.
Wow.
So he was an investigation officer there.
So you couldn't get away with much, I assume?
So good thing and bad thing because
Yeah.
my mom and I and brother always lived in our town.
Yeah.
My dad used to be outside in the city. So he
Really?
used to come off and on and off, on and off.
Okay.
It was tough because obviously in the village you don't need his job doesn't
Right.
it doesn't work that way. So
Right.
so we used to go on all vacation and he used to come in between every month or 2 months or whatever it is he comes.
That's how often you saw him?
Yeah.
Was that difficult for you, or you were happy with that?
No, it was difficult. It
Yeah.
was difficult, obviously. My mom used to work, and of course, but the good thing was also we used to be in joint family.
Uh-huh.
So my grandmom,
Multiple generations.
aunts, uncles,
Yeah.
it wasn't that difficult because we had people.
A lot
We
of
not had
family. Right.
big family, huge
Right.
house,
Yeah.
and all those things. So as I grew up, I finished my high school, and then I went to my pre-college. In college, I went with my dad because going to college was easier in cities than in town.
Right.
So I joined dad. So my brother and mom was this side, and I was with dad.
Right. Right.
So it was another ball game because he was even there. More often he was not there because he was traveling, and I never used to know that because he's not supposed to tell me where he's going.
Right. Right.
So
That's interesting. Okay.
So we see him pretty much every day when he's on site. I mean,
Right.
not on site. He's in office.
Right.
That's it. So in city when I moved, that's when I went to do my hotel management.
Right.
Though the whole dream of family was not to cook or not to go to hotels, they wanted me to be an engineer.
Of course. Of course.
So I would have probably qualified. That's a different story. But for some reason I chose this hotel management. Even there, I wasn't. My hope wasn't to become a chef. To become a manager, become a hotel management
Right.
guy.
Right. On the business side.
The business side of it.
Yeah.
So I got into this in hotel management. You have a major chunk is basically food and beverage service and food and beverage. Culinary science. That's where I got into this whole game.
This
of
was still in
cooking.
India.
Still in India.
Still in South.
It's in South, a place called Bangalore, which is in
Oh, yes,
California
of course.
India.
Yep.
So that's where I closely worked with a commercial cooking scenario. Before that, I used to work with my grandmother and mother in our little kitchens, cooking our own food. I didn't see or know anything outside my town.
Right. What was your town called?
It's a village near Trivandrum. Trivandrum is the capital city of Kerala.
Okay.
Which is probably 35 miles from the capital city, which is a complete coastal town.
Some of the best fish dishes I've had are in Kerala. Yes.
Very true. Because you have two things over there. One is a coastal, your backwater, and then
Right.
you have also a coast.
Right.
So two kinds of fish,
Right.
fish,
Right.
shellfish, shrimps, and lobsters, and all
Right.
those things. So in Bangalore, that's when I saw this whole game of commercial cooking and creating new dishes. I didn't even know that you could actually create dishes. I always thought that what my grandmother made is what the dishes are. The TV wasn't very popular too.
Right.
Because you don't have this many channels, the whole networks,
Yes.
all those things. So, and even when we had TV, you didn't have cable, so you only
Right.
see the national TV.
Right.
So that's like limited 4 hours
Right.
of television.
Right.
So then this is where I got to see all these things. And that was the time when cable TV was slowly coming into
Right.
college
Right.
and all those things in India. Of course, I'm talking about India. Probably cable came in here a long time ago. so all those things. So this whole thing of madness started in my mind, saying that this is a little unlike what I'm used to or I've seen or heard from my mom.
Right.
My mom always said stethoscope, and becoming a pilot, becoming an engineer.
Right.
and all
So
that.
all in the sciences.
All the sciences.
Right.
A little different. I realized, oh, okay. So this whole game started, and then started cooking in the college where your cooking labs. Then I went for internship. After when you're halfway through your hotel management, you go for internship.
So how old were you at this time?
I was in my early 20s, only 21 or
21.
so. Yeah,
Okay.
21 or maybe not. 21.
Around 20.
Yeah, around
Okay.
20.
But take me back even further for a moment and tell me, what do you remember from your very young childhood days? What are some of your earliest memories?
Biggest ones would be going for little teeny fishing where you come back with no fish because you don't know fishing.
Right. Who took you?
Others catch. Like I said, joint family. So
Okay.
My father's brother, my cousin sisters, sometimes my grandmother, because we have our home is right in the shore of a little river,
Okay.
and you have paddy field and coconut field is what you see all over the place.
That's lovely.
So coconut is all over the place. Black
Right.
pepper is creeping on the. On the
So
on
you
the
just
coconut
pick
trees.
things.
Yeah, it's. I never thought it was a luxury until I came here.
Right.
Because
Right.
this was a way of life.
The way of life over there.
It's nothing different to me.
Right.
You go to Paddyville, and paddy is the half of the year you don't have paddy, so it's
Right.
empty. So you start growing cucumbers and all those
Right.
things.
Right.
So all the lentils and all those
Right.
things. So you see different. I thought that
Just
is
the
it.
way life is. Yeah.
That's where you go anywhere. This is
Right.
what you see.
Right.
It was a little different later on. I
Right.
realized that.
Right.
So those things are definitely, I will never forget that. And then your harvest of paddy harvesting and all those sugarcane harvesting, your all those things. Those are, and I still remember you don't have machines to when you bring
Manual.
in the thing,
Yeah.
you do everything manually.
Right,
So
right.
when the paddy, the whole stem of paddy comes in loads of it.
Right.
You make buffaloes and oxes
Yes.
walk around on the top of it.
Yes.
So, so just get
Like
the-
olden days?
Yeah, olden days.
Yeah.
So those things I've seen when I was literally
Right.
when I was young.
Right.
So I
So you were involved in the harvesting.
absolutely, absolutely.
From what age?
I would say when I was in kindergarten. To,
So the moment that you could walk,
Yeah,
you remember that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We used to have at least always at least a couple of cows and a couple of bullock carts and
Right.
a couple of oxes and a few buffaloes and all
Right.
those things. I mean, we used to have a house for that. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's funny because
Right.
we used to have a big house for that. Today, my uncle is parking car in those. Because it's huge, huge. It's a big joint family,
Right. Right.
and those definitely I cannot forget those because I can never forget it till my son he says that no, you're lying.
That's so funny. It's always like that, right?
Even my wife,
Right.
because she grew up in the city,
Uh-huh.
in Trivandrum, in a city. So she said, "Come on, you must be lying."
That's so funny.
So, yes,
What do
all
you
those things.
remember from those early years? Your grandmother, your mother cooking. What are some of
Oh.
the dishes that you remember?
The funniest part is everything goes with rice.
Of course. Of course.
So different kind of rice.
Yeah.
See brown rice, blonde rice, and white
Really?
rice, and
Wow.
all kind of rices.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I still haven't figured it out because we have so many rices.
Right.
And of course, and coconut.
Yes.
And mangoes when it is season in different
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of mango.
Oh,
Mangoes
yeah.
from this size to this size.
Yes.
You know, from ripe to raw,
Uh-huh.
to pickled to cured. I can't even explain because there must be like an insane amount of
Right.
way of cooking,
Yeah.
which I probably can replicate everything once throughout my life. Probably I won't be able to finish them all because
Yeah.
so many kinds
Right.
of cooking.
Right.
And these mangoes are cooked with fish. It's a very classic cooking.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So mango fish curry.
Yes.
Mango prawn curry.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah.
And then you have a very classic Kerala fish curries, coconut fish curry with tamarind. in
Right.
it.
Right.
And you have different kind of tamarinds. One is the not fermented, the dry little different kind of tamarind.
Right.
And the other one would be the regular tamarind. Dried and smoked, I mean, and I mean, obviously the fish curries I'll never forget. Those
Yeah.
would be my
Yeah.
cooking memories, and of course the lentils,
Yeah.
different kind of lentils, like I said, different kind of rice.
Did you cook with your grandmother and your mother? You did.
Lot.
So was it just you and a brother, or did you have other siblings?
Me and my brother.
You and your
Me
brother.
yeah.
So there was nothing in the family about, oh, boys shouldn't be cooking or anything like that?
Men never used to cook, actually speaking, those days.
Yeah.
But I was one of those little mavericks, you know.
So you wanted to cook?
Yeah, I was always interested
Uh-huh.
to how do you make this little chutney and how do you make this.
So you were
little-
following the women in the family in the kitchen?
Yeah, because I still remember we used to make these little chutneys using the stone grinders where you manually do these things. So I used to do that.
Yeah.
I used to do all those things. I mean, maybe probably my product wasn't probably good for anything, but I always used to try.
Uh-huh. And they never stopped you?
No, because lots going on. There is a huge house. There's so
Right.
much going on
Right.
there, and somebody's grating coconut, or someone's processing little fish.
So they were
Someone's
probably glad
taking-
that you were doing something
Yeah,
useful?
something is going on.
Yeah.
They never used to bother.
Yeah.
But in this whole process of this thing, I captured few things
Right.
for sure.
Right.
And then the professional cooking helped and actually brought everything together. together for me. When I got into the school, you basically got access to a lot of ingredients.
Right.
Which you probably would have never seen.
Right.
Or even got in a very convenient manner. It's kept in bottles and all those things.
Right.
Even at home, it's kept in cupboards and all those
Yes.
things. So it's not easy to access them.
Yeah.
So here you got everything.
Right.
And also you got a lot of freedom to do mistakes. So this is it. Cooking is basically the definition for cooking is this.
Yeah.
Opportunity,
Right.
availability of ingredients,
Right.
and freedom to cook.
Right.
If you have it, then you apply your common sense. That's food.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
So then going back, you said you were about 20 years old when you did the internship?
Yeah, 1920. Not internship. I was doing my culinary school. I was probably early 20, like 2021. Yes.
Okay. And then take me through your early 20s. What happened when you were going through school and then after exiting school?
Yeah, I did a couple of internship, and then while I was in school,
Right.
6 months plus or so.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me. So I got to see more because more than in school, you see in commercial atmosphere like hotels. And in India, we didn't have standalone restaurants like here those days. Now, yes.
Right.
All the good restaurants are always part of hotel because hotels could afford restaurants,
Right.
but individuals just couldn't afford a restaurant buying all these
Right.
ingredients.
Right.
So it was in hotels.
Your internships?
Yeah, all the internship when you study in India, you do in a hotel, and you work inside in the hotels. You have restaurants.
Right.
So you work there.
Right.
So same story. I joined a little hotel in Bangalore.
Uh-huh.
From there, I moved to another bigger hotel there.
Do you remember which one was the first hotel that you interned at?
The Oberoi is Bangalore.
The Oberoi in
Oberoi,
Bangalore.
Yeah, the Oberoi is in Bangalore.
I love the Oberoi
So
chain.
it's an amazing
Yeah.
group. It is a rival of today's my
Right,
hotel
Taj,
chain,
yes.
So
They're both very good brands.
yeah. So that's that. And I worked there. I worked in every little corner wherever they gave me opportunity. It's not that you can ask for things; they give
Of course,
you things.
yes.
So we just worked there, and you. After that, I went back to school. Then I went back again in a couple of places. I had this whole thing of whenever you get a chance, you go work.
Yes.
Where you get
Yes.
maybe 2 weeks and all those things. Post that, I finished my school. I got my bachelor's and all those things. I got a job. I actually even started working in again back in Oberoi a little bit. And from there, I got this opportunity to open a place with Taj in Maldives.
And Maldives, yes.
That was a big. I got to work with some nice chefs.
How old were you when you started there?
Early 20s again in 23, 24.
Uh-huh.
23,
So still early
yeah.
20s.
Yeah. It wasn't many years because
Right.
jumped in there, I worked there, and I started there. Then we had a good opportunity to work in. There was a restaurant called. There's actually a multi-cuisine restaurant. Which cooks everything there.
Inside the Taj.
Inside the Taj. So there I could work in many little places there.
Right.
Then there was a specialty restaurant which cooked Mediterranean food.
Right.
So I got the exposure of that, and
Right.
European food. There I got
Yeah.
exposure. Then between I got opportunity to come to CIA here in Poughkeepsie. So that was a big opening for me. Again, I came here to do a little course, studied there, and then I did a couple of courses there. More than an opportunity in CIA, I also came to New York. New York is
Of course.
center of the universe
Yes.
for food.
Yes.
There I dined every possible place with whatever money I had.
Yeah.
And then I went back to Taj there in Maldives. After a few days, the tsunami hit the Maldives.
That's right.
Our
That's right.
entire Indian
Yeah.
Ocean side.
Yeah.
Obviously, you probably know that better
Yes.
than me. So then it destroyed the entire resort. Completely.
Wow.
So we were all almost on the verge of losing our lives.
Yeah.
Somehow we survived. Luckily, nothing happened to us. Survived. And we went back. That's when I got this opportunity of staging and then working with the Manu Saison
In England.
Oxford,
Yeah.
in England. That changed further, added further to my culinary life. There again, I don't let go any opportunity. I went, since it was in Europe, I could go across and
All
just
through Europe.
explore a little bit,
Yes.
little more. There I took full advantage at that time.
You took what, I'm sorry?
Full advantage
Yeah.
of that time. I
Yes.
went around everywhere. I ate, dined, worked. I used to go in the morning and say, "Hey, I want to work here. You don't need to pay me anything."
Wow. Yeah, that's a wonderful way to learn.
So I used to go you probably will get some to probably you're peeling artichokes, but still you're seeing so many other things.
Right. Right.
Or probably making little dauphine potatoes with gratins. But still you're watching other things, what's going on and all those things.
This is now mid-20s?
Yeah, mid-20s. And then, so that from there, then again, post-tsunami, they hired me back in Taj.
At Maldives?
Yeah.
So they rebuilt?
They rebuilt the whole thing.
How long did that take?
It didn't take much. It took an year.
1 year?
1 year.
Wow. So you were in England for just that 1 year?
See, the thing is, I was on and off.
Okay.
Some things which I'll tell you later about.
Okay. Okay.
So every opportunity I used.
Sure.
Then back, and then again, we rebuilt the place, set up the place.
Yep.
That's when the San Francisco opportunities came up. In between, so much more.
Yes.
Of little bit of opening. I went to India and Chennai to help them out open a restaurant there with Taj.
Standalone? Oh, with Taj. Okay.
It's kind of a standalone, but not a standalone. Outside the building of the hotel, so but kind of a.
But it belongs to the hotel.
Yeah, all those things. And then here, of course, I came in probably at the worst time of economy in the last 30 years or so. 2000, end of 2007,
End of 2007.
which was actually good at that point.
Right.
And then immediately,
Right.
2 months,
Right.
the breakdown started.
Right.
Unfortunate, but we held the fort for
Yes.
a couple of years, and then that's when we had a little bit blessing of whole Michelin reviews,
Right.
as well as
Right.
review by Michael Bauer from
Right.
Chronicle.
Right.
He gave us scored us really well. He took some time to review us, but when he reviewed us, he just it poured well. So he gave us a 3.5 for food on 4. So I thought it was great. And then 5 years of long Michelin star. Every year we were fortunate to retain it.
You should have given a 4, but we'll talk about that another time.
We will, but again, we have restrictions of being in the hotel and all those things. So that's that.
Yeah. Now, what do you feel are some of the hardest times that you've had in your career thus far? Was it the situation in Maldives? Was it something else?
Yes, one of them would be a situation in Maldives. It was almost like it's like that property was we built up from scratch.
Yes.
I was seeing everything, and then all of a sudden you see your home falling apart.
Yes. Yes.
So we literally we were all survivors of that tsunami.
How did you actually physically survive that in that
I
moment?
still remember the day I was standing in the lobby and talking to a guest who dined with us previous night.
Yes.
And we were talking about the experience and what happened, what didn't happen.
Yeah.
And in the water, I see little, the resort is surrounded by a lagoon.
Yes.
The lagoons are typically green.
Yes.
So you see this beautiful green lagoon, and all of a sudden the green is becoming blue.
Right.
Because the deeper it gets, it turns
Right.
blue. You know?
Right.
So I found there is something strange because
Yes.
the lagoon doesn't turn blue all the time.
Yeah.
High tide.
Yeah.
Yes, not this blue. And you could feel it. I don't know if it's a psychological thing. You could feel something was wrong. The birds
Yes.
are flying.
Yes. Something's different.
Something's different, and the atmosphere is kind of moist, and I don't know what is going on. I thought it probably was going to rain.
Yeah.
So, and the water actually comes on the land. It
Yes.
just comes. It's okay. It must be a terrible high tide. What's going on here?
Right.
So then
This is the days leading up to.
No, that day.
Oh, that very morning.
That very
Okay.
time.
Wow.
9 o'clock or so. I remember 9:30 or 10 o'clock or whatever it is. I was still continuing to talk. I still remember she is. I think she's from Taiwan. Then I was really funny. This thing. I was like, look at this. Photo right here. You probably you could just. Snorkel here. I didn't know this whole thing. I didn't even know there was a word called tsunami existed. So the water comes up. First time the water came, I said, wow, this is strange. Second time the water came, I said, oh, it's coming closer.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Right.
Third time, we didn't have time to have a conversation because the water was on the top of us.
Oh my goodness.
And it really destroyed the lobby completely. And
Yeah.
in a few minutes or so, we saw the computers and chairs and tables flowing towards in the lagoon already. It's no longer a lagoon because it's the deep sea.
So you're swimming at this point.
I was holding a pillar. was holding
pillar.
a wooden pillar in
Okay.
the lobby because that was the only thing left.
Oh my
Everything was
goodness.
going apart. So
Were people also holding on to the same pillar?
actually, the funniest thing is this lady was holding the pillar, another pillar,
Yeah.
and two girls in the front office. I still remember one is a Brazilian, the other one is a French girl. There were two girls and no men there. They were trying to hold me in.
Oh my goodness.
And they were holding me, and I was holding the pillar. And I still remember one of the girls kind of did not have a full arm, like a hand, not all the fingers, a couple of. So she was trying to hold me, grip me so hard. So I didn't have time to think, and I was not able to think because
Yes.
I'm dumbstruck.
Yes, of course.
What is going on here?
Yeah.
So I didn't even know I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Forget about going to die, but I didn't even know I'm going to die because I didn't know what was happening.
Right.
So I was trying to hold and just doing
Yeah.
all these things.
Yeah.
So
So obviously at this time when you're holding the pillar, you're able to breathe. You're above water.
yeah, breathe above water, but at one point water came above us.
Came
too.
again.
Yeah, above us too.
Uh-huh.
It was almost like a big truck hitting you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Water coming in, water coming.
Right.
Now you don't see much. Then I'm tall, unfortunately. I'm just sticking my neck out and see what's going on. I see a lot of things going. Floating.
Did the water come over and over again?
Yeah, three times probably, three
Three
or four
times.
times. Luckily, it was only 3 times because after that, it just subdued. It just went down. And then I'm seeing, but I know water is going to come again because it's ocean. I mean, where's the water going to go? Because our island is something like this.
Right,
Something
I
like
remember.
this.
Yeah.
And I'm standing here. The water is coming from here. It's
Yeah.
going here.
Yeah.
And this is it. This is it. It's not
Yeah.
a lot, and
Yeah.
you could actually see both ends of the island.
Yes.
And I know the water, the land is going to be destroyed in like a few minutes.
Right.
I know that because it's only so much. How
Right.
much you can hold.
Right.
You know. So I was looking at.
So each time the water came, did it recede immediately, or were you underwater for some seconds?
Not completely. You was literally above it and just goes down. Goes down.
So did you have to hold your breath?
Yeah, we could. I could stick out and just get some breath.
Were you able to swim already at that point, or
I didn't want to swim.
no? I mean, did you have the skill of swimming?
Oh yeah, I knew swimming.
Okay, you know how
because
to
I'm
swim.
from a little village, so
Okay.
I knew, but I didn't know how many people knew swimming
Right.
over there because people are holding me. I could
Right.
definitely not swim with 3 people with me.
Right.
So my idea was not about swimming or escaping.
Yes.
My idea was to somehow stand there. My prayer was the pillar doesn't fall on me because if the pillar falls, the roof is falling immediately.
Yes. Yeah, and that would be
that's
it.
going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So a few minutes I saw water kind of go down.
Yeah.
So then I was expecting water to come, obviously. I was restless, so the water is not coming. Why is it not coming? Because I know it is going to come.
Right.
And that's when somebody listens to radio or something like that. There is something called a tsunami.
Somebody had a radio on
Yeah, somebody had a little radio.
above water.
No, but there's an area where there's a little portion of place where you have a double floor, a staff area. Somebody who came that he did not go underwater. Obviously.
wow.
So he comes
Yeah,
running,
yeah.
saying that there's something called a new thing which called a
Right.
tsunami.
Right,
So
right.
he didn't know to pronounce it like me. I didn't know.
Tsunami. I see.
So he was some new thing. A lot of people died,
Right,
and
right.
it hit Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is almost destroyed.
Yes. Yeah.
And
yeah.
this is just a kind of a reflection of that. It's not
Yes.
even. It is an aftermath of that.
Right.
It's not even a tsunami.
Right.
So then we realized, okay, something is wrong. So then we're trying to figure out what is coming up now.
Yes.
Because we know Sri Lanka is.
Right.
But then we talk about it. Then all we saw is our dive master from this thing coming. He went under the ocean. He has no idea what is going on the top above it, and he comes shocked. What happened?
Wow.
He's a German dive master. He
Yeah.
comes and said, "Hey, Sri, what happened?"
Yeah.
I have no idea, man. And then all I know is this. So he says that I didn't feel anything because I was down 25 feet.
Wow.
So he didn't know anything down there.
How long did it take until all the water was receded and you could be on?
The whole process was probably 5 to 6 minutes. I don't know how much time.
That short?
Yeah, but it was pretty
Very destructive.
pretty restricted.
Yeah.
There was nothing left there basically.
How terrified were you in that moment?
Oh, I like I said, I have no idea what happened. It was like almost cutting your arm off. You
Yeah.
don't feel the pain.
Yes, in that
With a
moment.
small cut, you feel the pain, but you're cutting your arm off. You don't feel because your nerves are red.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the same story. It's in. It's in. But after that, it's not the pain. It was fear.
Yeah.
Wow, what is going on here? And,
Were you married at that time already?
no, I was actually engaged.
You were engaged, and your wife was where at that, or your
Hometown.
at the hotel there?
No. She was in hometown. Her hometown.
Oh, in hometown. Okay.
Yeah. So that was funny.
Okay.
Now
Wow.
I can say it was funny, but it was scary. It was
Yeah.
really scary. I don't
Yeah.
know what lack of a better word. I don't know. There must be another word for it.
Right.
It was really scary.
Right.
Yeah, there was one incident, of course, I will never forget. And after that, probably.
So you maintained your relationship with Taj, obviously.
On and off, yeah.
Right.
A lot.
Right.
It is a great company to work with, for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
And yeah.
Wow. Okay. So now the opposite. What has been one of the greatest moments of your career thus far?
Greatest moments obviously would be, for now I would clearly say, apart from having my son in 2008, in career obviously would be coming to California
Yeah.
and getting an opportunity to work here is great. Because more than any opportunity, when your passion is food and cooking and all those things, you come to a mecca of cooking. There's a lot of ingredients, a lot of things, a lot of ingredients which you would never see in any place in the world. Probably some of them you might see, I don't know. But and so much access, so easy access, and you can work so closely with people who actually dig out of the land.
Yes. Yes.
That's a joy. That's a different feeling altogether.
Yeah.
You're literally meeting with the guy who plucked a squash blossom for you this morning.
Right.
A lot of people might not understand. If I tell my wife, she probably laugh. Said, what's so different?
What's the
in
big
that?
deal? Yeah.
What's the big deal?
Right.
But only when you actually feel it, you get it. It's a different feeling altogether.
Right.
You come with the guy, a bunch of lemon verbena. He probably broke it off from his backyard this morning.
Right.
And and figs. Probably last evening he was getting the figs down from this tree, and this morning I have it in my kitchen.
Right.
How many people in the world have the luxury?
Right.
How many countries have the luxury? How many? I don't know, but I would think that it is a great thing.
Yeah. So I'm curious, Chef, what did your parents and elders in the family, what did they teach you growing up that you have become the man that you are today? And in my opinion, that is a man who is beyond humble. You are one of the most humble chefs I have ever met, and you are someone whose talent, like I said earlier, you should be a household name by now, and yet you have maintained not an anonymity, but you're definitely not craving the limelight like a lot of other of your colleagues do. Yet your talent is no less than the greatest in the world. What is it that your family members have taught you that has made you the way you are?
I don't know. I would say that values what we had back home, like a joint family value, and how my grandmother and mother and dad, my dad brought us up. Probably it was very simple. There was nothing complicated. We grew up in a very, very, like I said, it's a middle class family. Everyone went to work, and though we had a lot of land, doing a lot of things, but that doesn't make you rich,
Of
That
course.
doesn't make you an aristocrat.
Sure.
Or something like that. So our value systems are very strong, wherein respect to elders.
Respect
was something-
elders
That's something which
is missing today.
I know. Like I said, it was automatic.
Yes.
I don't think anybody taught us go respect elders.
Right.
It is what you see, You see. Excuse me. So, my dad, I still remember, my father used to smoke when he was young, because smoking was a big style. The Winston Churchill's and Robert Kennedy,
Right.
John F. Kennedy,
Right.
those times. So
It was fashionable.
It was fashionable.
Right.
So he was living in Delhi and all those cold places. He used to smoke. So when he used to come to my hometown, he was probably in his 40s, and 40 years old plus. So
would really be scared to come to kitchen to pick up the matchbox when my grandmother is there.
Because of the smoking?
Because of smoking. He doesn't want his mom to see or know that he smokes.
Interesting.
So, can you imagine the respect? Can you imagine how much that's out of respect, not out of fear? Not that she's going to throw him out of the house.
Right.
That's the kind of value you grew
Back
up with,
then, yeah.
So you're following that. You're seeing your father doing that.
And it's not spoken, but you saw it.
Nobody says that.
Right.
Why is he fumbling to pick up this? So
Yeah.
so those are the systems.
Yeah.
So and when you're basically sitting down in a chair, when your dad walks in, you get up.
Yes.
You don't sit down and just look at.
Yes.
Look up. So those things, and when you're eating, sitting together, you let your elders start
Eat first. Yes. Yes.
Little things, but I don't think I can instill in my son. I'll try, but those things. And when your grandfather is sitting on the floor or in lower this thing, you would never sit in a taller
Higher.
chair.
Yes.
Yes. Those are the systems, and
That's very traditional.
And we were also lucky that we didn't have to, and that's why we're lucky that we didn't have to take an appointment with our grandmother when you're going to her house. Like
You
we
just
do in
went?
America, you just walk in.
Yes.
And vice versa.
So, in essence, it's traditional family values, a lot of respect for the elders, and the difference is that it's not fear, it was genuine respect.
It is not fear. Why would it be? Like
Yeah.
I said, it's completely genuine
Yes.
respect.
Yeah.
That's a
It's
system.
very,
I hope,
very
I hope
different.
that doesn't die. That system doesn't die.
Well,
Probably
with
will
people
die.
like you, hopefully not.
I don't know.
Hopefully not.
So
Wow. Wow.
that's a supernatural thing. It's not because I'm smarter, or it is not because I'm a nice person or something. It's a very natural thing. Most people did that there.
I don't know about that. I have very high opinion of you, as you know. There's a lot of people who were raised in similar kind of values and family,
They change.
but they didn't turn out like you. So it has to be a mixture
It changed,
of
I don't
both.
know. And also, I was very on the other side of it.
Yeah.
My mother was very strict,
Yes.
so I was very scared of her
Yes. Sounds like my family. Yeah.
because she was super strict. She had almost like a like a single mom syndrome, because I don't know what you call it, because my father was not there. She
Right.
knew father was not there. I would
Right.
take advantage, and my brother would take advantage.
Right.
So she was
Extra.
She was extra cautious and extra
Right.
powerful. Like
Yes.
she used to impose things on
Yes.
us.
Yes.
So that actually turned out to be a good thing. I still tell her. Had you not stopped me go play cricket, I would have been a cricket player. All those things.
Nothing wrong with that.
So
You probably would have been great at that too.
I don't know, but so all those things, and so I got this thing. Values, of course, I don't know, it just came in automatically, but my mom was very strict.
Right.
She used to behave like she would behave to her students at school,
Right.
to me at home.
Right.
So in India, the parents, at least those days, they used to give some little stick treatments and all these things.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So-
That's
so
all
those-
over Asia.
I think it's changing. It's even changing in back in Asia, China's and other countries in India. It's changing probably. I don't think anymore. It's anymore that way. I don't know how much.
It's interesting to see if that contributes to the lack of respect that children have nowadays.
I don't know. Maybe.
If there's a
Maybe.
direct correlation or
Maybe,
not.
yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, those were strong kind of I wouldn't call. I don't know how strict it was. It was good. I thought it was a good thing.
In hindsight.
Yeah.
Right. How often do you get to talk to or see your parents now?
Talk to pretty much every day.
Every day.
Yeah,
Wow.
Almost every day, or every second day, or third
Phone
day.
or Skype or?
Skype once in a while, but
Do
phone.
they know how to use computers?
Oh yeah, they know.
Wow.
I've set up computers.
You've set it up for them?
I've set up for
That's
them.
fantastic. Yeah. Wow. So and then you get to see them, like you said, you go home at least once a
At
year?
least once a year I go for sure, and Skype them more often once in a while.
What are your favorite areas in India, especially for food?
it changes every time. It's becoming. India is changing a lot.
Yes.
My favorite area would be obviously. My biggest thing has always been street food because I never got to eat a lot of
Right.
street food when I was young.
Right.
I got to see them, but I didn't get eat a lot. As I
Right.
grew up in my school days and college days, as I grew up, then I started eating a
Right.
lot of it. So that, and after college, I left India very soon. So the opportunity to
Was not there.
not
Yeah.
there a lot.
So now you go back for
go
street
back.
food.
Always, I always
Yeah.
go for street food. And the good thing is the streets have become better these days in
Sure.
terms of food.
Sure.
Because a lot of people realize that street
Right.
food is, so every street has a lot of street food
Yeah.
now. Bangalore, or go to Bombay or in Delhi,
Right.
Or even in Trivandrum, streets are pretty bustling in the evenings. So
How do you get your thought process for constructing some of your most famous dishes, like your spice pot, which I am absolutely in love with? I'm sure you're bored of it by now, but I rave about this dish to everybody who hasn't come here. And as you know, a lot of your fans, both old and new, come here just to experience that dish. So, in my opinion, a lot of your food is, like I said, a little bit of Ferran Adria elements in there, right? There's the molecular gastronomy, there's the French, there's the Indian and Californian. What is your thought process when you're creating a dish like that?
I don't know about Ferran Adria. When I was growing up, I just saw this man. He was fascinating. Just
Yes, he is, yeah.
I was unfortunate I couldn't go to his place and dine. I always wanted to, but he's not a chef. He's something beyond that.
Beyond that. Well, I did have the opportunity and the blessing to dine at his restaurant, and I can definitely tell you a lot of your elements are very reminiscent of him.
So I basically, it was. I obviously, I don't think I'm that creative as Ferran Adria, but I definitely did study a lot of his books. He's got a completely different level of cooking in his own way. But I come from a very strong ethnicity, which I definitely wanted to give a little respect to that, and definitely and also. The cooking which I probably learned in my college days or whatever it is. So I brought these two things together. And in a place like California, I probably wouldn't have cooked in this level of creativity or whatever you call it before coming to California. Because, like I said, this is kind of a bull in the china shop. You know, you just have it's a big china shop with so much wool. I'm like a bull just jumping in and just running around like a small kid. So this opportunity of ingredients, you're only, when it comes to chef, you're only as good as your ingredients. You know, your food is only as good as your ingredients. That's what I totally believe in, because if the ingredients are not good, whatever techniques you put in, you don't taste them well. Right balance, right adjustments, and all those things are in the back. But the right ingredients would make half. You're already halfway through. You're totally only as good as that. So that definitely came in handy when it comes to California. So when you go outside, you see all this best of the best ingredients, and when you come back, you have all these techniques in your mind. Whatever you did before, whatever you've seen before, you put these things together. For example, spice pot is basically a take on a chaat.
Right.
It's a simple chaat. What I love, like I said before, street food.
Yeah.
So I love this whole thing of street food. So,
but it's a completely different level, though.
I know. I probably, like I said, I did take it to a different level. But it's a simple chaat. I just started eating. I love the taste of it. Now I know if I serve chaat as a chaat, then why would somebody come dine here? Why wouldn't
At
somebody
Campton,
go to a little
instead of a
chaat
street?
corner?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I wanted to give a little bit of an elevation to it.
Right.
So that in the whole process of elevation, I do a lot of gardening. So not this year, until last year I used to do. So when I do gardening, so basically I go to garden shops a lot, little orchards, all those things and all. So I see this whole thing sitting around there. So the day I made this chart, that evening I was in a garden little shop.
Yes.
So I was looking at it. I was going to buy little pots for my home. So I thought, I always liked eating things out of a terracotta pot, which I didn't get that kind of a terracotta pot. I said, wow, it'd be nice to get something flatter of this, a flatter version of this pot. I asked the guy, can you get me some flat stuff? I said, no, we don't make crumbs. Okay, then I thought maybe I should serve in this. I served in that, I just put it inside it and just started eating it. I thought it didn't make it special.
Right.
Because how does it would be foolish to serve it in a pot. This is to serve because it's not a matka. Matka is a little pot for it. It's foolish. Then I thought maybe I should make this little interactive. Because once a server talks about this, it would be nice. It would make some sense.
Right.
Then I have this practice of running almost every morning. I run in Golden Gate Park. So I sometimes I steal things from here and there on the way, flowers and all those things when I run. And I also see. You also you see when you go towards the 40th Avenue or whatever it is, you see
the fog. Richmond Sunset area.
Richmond Sunset.
Like,
I live
grew
there.
up there.
I live in 6th and Anza.
Right.
So when you run towards 35 or 40, you see this whole fog and mist.
Yes.
I said, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
How do I connect this whole thing together?
Right.
So this whole connection. Then I thought, how do I bring this? I can't bring mist every day morning. So I got to do something to create this mist.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, dry ice might create this Halloween feel, but let me see.
Halloween feel.
So I don't want to make it too Halloween, but at the same time I want to give that.
Right.
So that came in handy. So it took me a month or two to bring all these things together.
This one dish, yeah.
I put it in like different levels, different stages.
Right.
First it was interactive. Then,
various iterations of it. Yeah.
Then in a month or two it got it just become what is it called? It just got its arms and legs and head, almost like a baby's ready.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that I love it. So after 2 months, it just got the whole. After 2 months, it got the whole shape.
Sure.
And then we started, and then I put it out. First day, one of my boys said, "Do you think it's going to work, chef? This looks scary, man."
Looks scary. Okay.
So 2 or 3 days, and then I see people going crazy on it.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Well, from a guest perspective, I can tell you that for me, at every one of my favorite restaurants in the world, for fine dining especially, there's always one dish that you can just go there just for that dish. And I know, like I said, from your perspective, it might be boring and simple by now, but from the guest perspective, to me, I feel your spirit in that. It's got the India, but it is very classic San Francisco. And I know that was part of your intention, was to recreate that fog.
True.
That you always see 19th Avenue up and down Golden Gate Park. That is quintessential San Francisco.
True,
so it's very much the spirit of everything that you are, that Campton is, and that San Francisco is. It's a perfect dish for me.
True.
Yeah. So you really nailed it with that one.
I think so.
Yeah. If you had created this 20 years ago and you were on one of those silly reality shows now, that would be your signature dish, right?
It's fun. Yeah.
So from today onward, what are your dreams for the future?
I think one thing I always told myself, to my number twos and other sous chefs, was that I think like the human race. If you see, in few years, I think there'll be no Chinese or Indian or Caucasian or anything. It's going to go all
multi-race.
Multi-race.
Yeah.
Food is actually becoming like that here.
Right.
Food is actually becoming like that because I personally feel there will be a new cuisine which will take birth called Bay Area cuisine or Silicon Valley cuisine.
Right. Right.
Where you will have Latin cuisine to Vietnamese to Chinese to Indian to Californian to French and everything. It's kind of a mixture, but well done. Not a mixture of something.
Not like the old days when fusion was a bad word.
It well thought, well put together.
Right.
It's all about putting it together.
Right.
All these cuisines have great dishes. You just have to pick those great dishes and put it perfectly well.
Right. One of the things I find most fascinating about you in particular is that there's been a lot of cuisines in America that have had their turns, right? First was Chinese for many decades. It reigned supreme. And then Japanese has had its turn, Thai had its turn, Korean not too long ago, maybe still now, and then of course banh mi. But I don't think Indian has had its turn in mainstream America, right? You don't have a P.F. Chang or what is that other Chinese, the Panda Express type of situation for Indian cuisine, right? So it's more of a well-traveled and elevated palate, I think, right now within America that can appreciate Indian cuisine. But my prediction, let it state for the record, okay, that I am predicting you will be the trendsetter for that new wave. I think you have been severely underappreciated by my standards. I think you really should be world famous by now, not just amongst your colleagues, but again, as a household name. And I predict that you will become that in the next few years.
I don't know, but I hope so. But I'll tell you exactly. There are two things in here. Number one is coming to the QSRs, like quick service things like Panda Express and all those likes. That's coming up big time. That movement has already started. Coming to the level what I'm cooking in kind of a fine dining Indian would be, numbers will be low, but they will exist. But again, it's going to be chef driven places, so chefs have to take initiative, and they should have the money to do that and all those things. And there is something in the middle which should and will come, which is called a fine casual, which is the trend. This is going to be the fine casual. Fast casual is one thing, and the fine casual is a different thing. Fine casual is the likes of rich tables and what do you say, your stone's throws and the fine casuals. Those are the trend now. This is not going to be a trend. This is going to be there for a long time now, because this is where you get almost food like a fine dining in an easier, approachable situation, in a place. Nice food, probably a little lesser price. So the chances are more that you would go there often than in a fine dining.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts today.
Pleasure.
And like I said, let it be stated here. I do believe that you will be the next biggest trendsetter in American cuisine.